Hey, and welcome back to the Realmhattan Project. It is 1934 here. It looks like it's early 40s everywhere else. But welcome to the show. We have Tyler, our esteemed guest today. Long time in the making, and happy to have him. How you
Thank
doing,
you for your
Tyler?
patience.
Thank you for your guys' patience. Sorry it took a couple weeks to make the schedule line up, but I'm glad to be here.
We got EE with us.
What's up, everybody?
Wolfie,
Hi.
Ricky,
What's going on, yo?
and Derek coming in.
What's up, everybody?
All right, so we'll get right into it. Now, Tyler, well, I'm sorry. We have to do our banter thing.
Well, I want to know what's with the hood, Wolfie.
The hood.
Thug life.
What are
It's
you,
my
cold?
I'm practicing my
He's a
Zartan
Sith Lord.
cosplay.
More like a light skinned Kylo Ren thing going
Look
on.
who's all into G.I. Joe
Yeah.
now. Oh,
More like-
Zartan. Oh,
Yeah.
More
like
like
the line ain't
Zorama.
been going on for years now already. It
Whatever.
feels like, now he wants to jump in.
Late to the party. Story of my life.
You know what else is cool? Star Wars. You should check that out.
What's that?
How many inches of snow is down there where you live right now?
0. Negative. What's a negative number?
No, I'm talking about Wolfie.
No, none. It was like 67 yesterday here.
Yeah, it
No,
was
it's like
almost 60 here today.
50s.
Wow.
Yep. Fucking February.
Oh, the heat must be off or something, in your house.
Why can't I just be cold? Don't worry about it.
I mean, just guessing.
We'll worry about you, Wolfie. Just be happy we care.
I'm pulling strings just like everybody else.
I
I don't know. I'm not worried about
I don't
him.
want him to feel left out.
Jesus.
There we go.
Okay, you guys need to be careful. Couple bald white guys putting hoods on. We're getting close.
Oh wow!
All right.
Oh, come on.
We're not.
It was not me, y'all.
Yep. Yep.
All
right, great start to the show.
And another show that will get now removed from the internet. But we're on the road.
Enjoy this one while you can.
Watch live because you won't ever be able to watch it again.
Ain't coming back.
Yep. Check. That's a check mark right there. All right.
All right. Tyler, how's your week been?
It's been good. It's been a long work week, so it's still not over, but no, overall fairly good. Got some good news this week, so I guess I could talk about it now. So the reason I couldn't be on earlier, there's only a handful of people that I've kind of shared this with, but I had to have a tumor removed from my left hand.
Wow.
So it's called a giant single cell tumor. Had to have surgery a couple weeks ago, have it taken out. So good news is it came back benign. So I'm good. Everybody's good. So that's probably about the best news that I could hope for. So
It's good to hear,
Better
man.
than you left
Yeah,
nut,
good
man.
to hear.
yeah, and then then I come home and
Because forget the right one.
and then come home and the guy got some boxes laying around that have been laying around for a couple of weeks now. So got a few more Joes for the collection.
Joe.
So
Yeah.
Hey, Wolfie's new to the Joe game. He's all about that shit right now.
3 years late, but okay, more the merrier, I guess.
40 years late if we're being technical.
Like, how deep are you planning on jumping in, Wolf?
Good question. I don't think I'm going to get any of the Python Patrol or the Tiger Force.
I'm with you on that.
Probably just people I know from TV, maybe from here and there. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I will say that's kind of one nice thing with the Joe line. There's not too much late tax, aside from like Duke. Duke for some reason will cost you about $60 now.
I could see
And
them
he's not
doing a
even
new
good
one too.
though.
I noticed that actually. Yeah, I was actually looking before the show started.
Yeah, he's about the only one. I think everybody else aside from like the convention stuff, right? Like Mindbender and Serpentor, I think everything else is still fairly reasonable.
Yeah.
So
Anybody wants to sell me their Hiss tank pre-order, DM me.
Quadruple the original price. I got you. But I'm keeping the Cobra Commander.
Fan bro me up.
or
Okay, triple the price, and I'm keeping the Cobra Commander.
or make your
Deal.
own. You can
Oh, I think I know a guy.
You can
Yeah.
you can
So
make
I
your
know a
own.
guy in the
I mean,
3D world.
get into
kinda
that in a
does
few
stuff
minutes.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip
I
the.
like your
He's
last
got his
post.
camera off.
Oh.
Wolfie, how's your week?
my week's been fine. Hung out in Memphis for a couple days.
Yeah.
On a job. Worked really hard.
Were you
No.
walking in Memphis? Were your feet
country song?
6 feet off the ground?
Oh, no, I don't. Stay away
Not
from
a
Memphis.
country song.
Is it? Yeah, it is.
They might have did a country cover, but the original was not country.
Was it? Who sang that originally?
Like Mark Cohen or some crazy name like that. It was like a one-hit wonder from the 80s.
Mark Cohen.
Something like that.
I don't remember that. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. It's a good week. It's Friday. Glad to be here. Glad our guest finally showed up. Thank you. Appreciate you. You had a good reason, though. You're okay. I forgive you.
Mark Cohen. I was right. I Googled it.
There you go.
Ricky, how's your week?
Oh, man. I'm not even getting into the rant about PlayStations because at the end of the day, it was I messed up. I didn't check a plug. And but I did have to go the whole thing. I thought my PlayStation out with my warranty, got it home, figured out it was just a loose wire the whole entire time, so had to re-download everything, lost my save files, the whole Megillah. It was awesome.
What'd you learn?
That, I learned that I hate you, and you look weird with a hoodie on inside your house.
Oh, okay. Do the easy
And
stuff first.
I also learned to next time just message Gort. Be like, Gort, why isn't my thing acting stupid?
It's could
Other
be a
than that,
picnic
just work
virus.
like crazy. Got some
Gort,
stuff
you better
in the
charge him
mail.
for this shit
Yeah, high five and
By
a
the minute.
handshake.
by the minute.
Yeah.
$25 in a minute.
Got some crap in the mail. I'm a little upset about I got the New Age Ironhide and Ratchet, the new ones. Not a fan of them. Like the bots are okay, but the alt modes are trash.
So I see nothing has changed in Transformers in the last 5 years, huh?
Well, the problem is it's a version 2, so you're expecting an uptick, and their alt modes on their version 1s look nicer than their modes. But Magic Squares look the best in alt mode, obviously. But in
What's
bot
more
mode,
important
they
to you,
look okay.
Well, then you have one for each mode, right?
Well, unfortunately, I do. Because I thought I
Yeah.
was going to swap out my Magic Squares, but now I'm going to keep one for alt mode. And to answer your question, Wolfie, when I buy anything that's a mold mate, like they share the same mold, I'll put the main character or the character that means the most to me in bot mode for my display, and the other one will be in alt mode somewhere in the display so I could see it. Kind of like I got Outback in alt mode, but I got Brawn in bot mode. So stuff like that. But now I'm just stuck with this. I've had a hell of a time with Gears. EE has not helped me with that at all. I transform everything without, same ones I was talking about. I transform them without instructions first to see where it goes. And I got Wind Charger done fine. Gears, it just seemed like it just wouldn't quite go. So I was like, okay, I got to pull up a video to see where I messed up. Followed the video step by step, and I still just can't get it all tabbed together. Like, it looks like a truck, but it looks like a truck falling apart. Like, it looks like a truck in the background of Sanford and Son. It's crazy. So, got that in.
Yeah, I haven't transformed Gears yet. So
Yeah, I even reached out to EE. I was like, have you had trouble with it? Is there some little trick that I'm missing somewhere along the way? Like, is there something like that? And he's like, I haven't even transformed it yet. So, no help. Zero help.
It's Gears. Who gives a fuck? Put him on the shelf. He's just there to fill in the spot.
What else?
That might be
I
the
got
exact
into-
reason I stopped collecting Transformers. Anyway,
Yeah, but at $20 a pop is I don't mind
That's
doing it
that's
as
about it
opposed
for
to
me.
$100 a pop at the time. Like I think that the Gears, who made Gears, was it Bad Cube?
Bad Cube.
Yep.
Was it Bad Cube?
Sounds right. Yeah.
Shoebags.
Mm.
For me, I think.
Derek.
Oh, let me try to change it into a positive. It was a very productive week, and we got a lot of things done around the house. Um, just doing clean up stuff, moving things around, trying to get the old storage room together because I got a feeling that this year is going to be a little, this year is going to be a little more stuff coming in possibly. So so yeah, I got to make sure that that's right, and I got to offload a couple of things. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I got my daughter over here with me this weekend, so we can hang out. It's Super Bowl weekend. Looking forward to Sunday watching the game and whatnot. Dad's coming over, and we're just gonna hang out and just have a good old time. And yeah, I mean, although
It's on the menu.
my team is not going. Oh man, I'm just gonna do like finger food stuff like wings and mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
Pigs in a
Where's my
blanket, stuff
invite?
like that, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'll set up a virtual camera in the theater room so you can watch the game with us, Ricky.
Cool.
Just send your $15 admission, and then we'll get you all squared.
Yeah.
So
But
but yeah, no, it's been a cool week. Even work's been cool, man. Everything's been good. Glad to be here amongst my peers, and ready to talk about some cool stuff with Tyler tonight. It's nighttime.
Yes,
So
I agree. Bring Go Chiefs.
yeah, go
chefs.
Chiefs.
The
The
chefs.
chefs.
Go yeah, go them too. So
I mean,
yeah.
he wanted New York to win too, and we see how that turned out. So I hope he's
Yeah.
doing that ironically, going for the Chiefs. He wants them to actually lose. Brinks a jinx.
Anyone but fucking Philly.
You just want to
Yeah.
vote with Russ. We know why you don't.
It ain't just Russ. I just don't want to see Philly win shit ever.
I thought the script got leaked. I thought Philly was winning 37-34.
Script. I saw that.
Got leaked.
I saw that. Gord, what's new?
Oh, my week's too complicated to get into. We're skipping me. How are you doing?
Couldn't even get Technicolor in.
No, my week's been good. I got a couple things in. Got some. I think same thing that Ricky did with the New Age Ratchet 9 hide. Finally got my Mayfek Psylocke, and there was a big Marvel Legends drop. A bunch of figures from my BBTS that came in this week.
I see what you did there. A big Marvel Legends, and it was Blob. I get it.
Yeah.
I see what you did.
No, besides that, work was fine. It was a short week. I was off on Monday. Next week, I got another short week coming up also because I'm off on Friday. So yeah, no complaints. Just
We all need to work with Eric.
already
Get drunk
mid-February.
Get drunk at work. Pool halls at their jobs. We all the time.
Sunday was the birthday.
Yeah, happy belated.
Thursday was the 15-year anniversary. So
Happy 50th.
I'm sorry, Miss EE.
Wait. I'm sorry. You said you had an anniversary and your birthday?
yeah, my birthday's on the 5th, and our anniversary is on the 9th.
I'm not going to push any
Oh,
buttons.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So February is definitely a big month for you every
Yeah,
year.
my son's birthday is on February 21st. So yeah, February is
Oh,
always.
wow.
No.
Yeah,
I feel like
February is
between the
big month.
months of like October through February, everything is either building up towards Christmas,
Mhm.
and as soon as Christmas is over, now I'm building up towards the anniversary, his birthday. He'll be 14. So
14.
Yeah, so I don't get a chance to breathe. I feel like with all that nonsense. It's on another week. What's today? 10th? Yeah, almost 2 weeks.
Yeah. Have y'all done the thing where you do a combined birthday anniversary thing with you and the wife, or
No, no. I'm pretty easy.
okay?
Just give me gift cards.
My
Give me gift
man, there
cards.
you go.
Give me
Yeah,
gift cards. I'm pretty easy. Yeah, I'm pretty
yeah,
easy.
yeah. That's what's
You
up.
know, she grabbed me a couple other things for my birthday besides gift cards this year on her own, and yeah, no, just give me gift cards.
Oh, that's what's up.
You gotta give me gift cards. You could just send me the money directly to up. Just sell me some cash. I'm fine with that. I'm pretty simple these days.
It's funny, man. My wife and I hit 19 years this week too.
Congratulations.
Oh, congrats, man.
Yeah, I mean, almost two decades she's been putting up with me.
All
Surprising.
right.
So,
All right. So we're gonna
Just dead space right there.
no,
right?
no.
Everybody's
We're
just
gonna
kinda like,
move along. I'm just
okay,
I gotta find the
yeah,
stupid
gotta find the
video.
buttons.
Yeah, gotta find the button.
It's time for the collector showcase.
That fucking makes me smile
My
every damn
goodness.
time, dude.
Good.
Every time I smile at that shit. Dude.
grief. I see Dust gave you no budget. But dude,
It's
Dust,
the opposite of that. We had to pay him money to be able to do this.
Dust, toss these guys some shekels or get them a cutscene, something, man. Come on.
No, I'm just surprised that it took Gort that long to press a button. Golly. Usually it's like Gort
It'd be
push that
embarrassing
before
if
you
he
even
worked
say
with
button,
computers.
it's already pressed.
Yeah, that's a different button. Tyler,
That's
tell
the
us.
turn the show off button.
Tell us about your showcase.
Man,
You're sitting in it.
I am. I'm sitting in it. Yeah, when Gort hit me up, I was like, yeah, I can take it from my shop. That's not a problem. So I guess a little bit of probably backstory or collector backstory is probably the way to go. So I think like a lot of people, I started in third-party Transformers in that 2014, probably, 13 maybe. When did third-party really kick off? 13?
I feel like it was 14.
Somewhere in there. So was hot and heavy into that until decided I wasn't. And it's kind of funny, like it's that one. Well, let me back up. I've been in and out of multiple collections, and I think the only things that have really remained is probably sneakers. Is probably the one that's still to this day, right? Like it's what I grew up with. It's what I love. I should have thought about that. I probably could have brought a couple of cool pairs down, but didn't think about it. And then that kind of I took a break for a while till I couldn't put off that collector's itch or that bug anymore, and I dove in headfirst into Star Wars Hot Toys, and I think at one point I had almost, if not everything, I think I had all of them that Star Wars had put out. So, and if you guys want to, I think it's still up on my Instagram. I think there's still a photo up on my Instagram of pretty cool shot with all of them on there. But and then episode 9 happened, and kind of killed my love for Star Wars in general. Like even now, I really can't bring myself to do much with the franchise. Like I think the only thing I've watched since episode 9 is Obi-Wan. I've tried Andor. I think I got one episode in. I'm like, it's not for me. Haven't done Clone Wars. Didn't do Jedi. What is it? Tales of the Temple. What's the shorts?
Tales of the Jedi.
Oh, Tales of the Jedi. I don't even know the name of it. That's how bad it is. And then I kind of picked up an itch to kind of get in. Well, I sold all that off too. And then actually, I think I was doing 3D printing while I still had the Hot Toys. But 3D printing kind of just took it over for me. So as I got out of Star Wars and got out of the hot toy game, 3D printing just kind of took over and took off. And I think it's, and I came to realize that a lot of my collecting is really chasing the high or trying to track down those hard to find pieces. And once you've done it and the thrill is gone, I find my wanting to collect weaning, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're
So-
more the thrill of the hunt part of it more than the acquisition of it.
Absolutely. Like to me, it was like trying to track down, especially like the hot toys at the time, because some of the early like Star Wars stuff, they didn't make a lot of it. It didn't come up for sale very often. When it did, it was kind of pricey. But yeah, it just gets to a point, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, like especially with Transformers, it just kind of got to it was just run of the mill. Like once you got caught up with everything you wanted, and it just became like the pre-order game, and like you just put the pre-order, and Handy would ship it out and it'd be at your door when you got it, and it just kind of it became a chore, almost like a task. Like I had no interest in transforming it, like unless it came in a vehicle mode. If it came in robot mode, great. Posed it, put it on the shelf, and never touch it again. I don't think I was really ever that guy that would flip them back and forth. But yeah, and then that's kind of when I got out of that, it's kind of really what started to get me into 3D printing. And that was right around that same time too, where the pandemic really kind of started to kick off in 2020, and like people were stuck at home. And I think it was, and I'd been doing it up to that point, and it just kind of, I would say, accelerated from there. So it kept me busy. My work life, I tended at that point to travel quite a bit, and I was grounded. They didn't want us traveling, and it was something to kind of keep my mind busy. And then it kind of evolved to the point like we were making PPE. So like when you couldn't find anything, we were printing and kind of doing these redneck visors is probably the best way to put it. When we were essentially printing like a glass frame, and it had knobs on it, and you could attach a piece of like plastic around the front of it, so it would kind of act as a face shield.
Okay.
And we were making those and donating them, and we were just doing different things with that. And it kind of started off as just like a hobby for my son and I, and then just like as it kind of progressed, and then you kind of start seeing different things that people are doing. And I think that's really where 3D printing has kept me engaged to this point. Because I mean, I've been going on, I think 4.5 years now, is as the technology continues to get better, you're really only limited to what your mind is kind of capable of thinking of, if that makes sense. And then just as kind of some of these lines have taken off, it to me it becomes more fun to kind of create things that people want, or maybe even surprise people with things that they didn't even know they wanted, but really make sense for them and their collection, really adds value to it. And I think that's kind of where you're starting to see 3D printing kind of creeping in more and more into collecting, is because you're able to do things and fill in the gaps, so to speak, of where some of these major toy companies aren't producing it. And I think it's I don't think it's an if, but a when it comes a point where we will be printing our own toys at home. I think these companies, when you think of manufacturing challenges, distribution challenges, even transportation challenges, getting it from China over here and then into a store through a third-party distributor, right? Like Hasbro having to deal with Target or whatnot with some of these GI Joe challenges. Instead, you'll just log on to Hasbro Pulse, download a file, and you'll be able to print your own and print as many as you want, right? And I think that's really where the future of this is going.
Now, have you been doing 3D printing for a while? Has the technology like gotten up to the point where like and I remember some of the first 3D print stuff that I had picked up was like really, you could really see the lines,
Mm-hmm.
and really grain kind of. I mean, it's cool to have, but it's like you can't really put that on a shelf with something fancy. Has 3D printing caught up where that's as bad as it used to be?
Yeah, well, so I think as 3D printing first started, and I'm going to try not to be super boring, um, but as I get into nerd speak, or I can't see the chat, but if people have questions in the chat, I'll be happy to help. But with 3D printing, it really started off with kind of, or Ricky, to what you're thinking of, like the typical layer lines. Is that what you're
Yeah,
referring
like
to?
the PLA or whatever they used to call that, where it made the layered lines. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, I guess to put it the easiest way, there's really two camps of 3D printing. There's traditional 3D printing, which is like your FDM, so it's a filament driven, which is, let me see if I can move this around without making you guys sick. So there's Big Blue, and there's the
Holy
twins. All
crap,
right.
you have a whole setup in there. Jesus.
Oh wow. Okay.
There's 7 printers in here right now.
7.
Yeah, 7. So like this is your like traditional like 3D printer. This is a Creality Ender 3. I jokingly refer to it as like the Honda Civic of 3D printers. So if it's easily upgradable, they're super reliable, super dependable. Ender 3 Plus, one of these will run you about. You can usually catch them on sale for about. What was that?
Sorry,
That's a
cat.
I was gonna say
Is it
something
a
strange.
cat or a rooster? One of the two.
So like this type of printer is like your traditional printer where you have like these spools of plastic, or here's some, right?
Okay.
It's kind of looks like fishing line.
Mhm.
So this is fed through a motor and then into these tubes, and then it's heated up in this block, and then this essentially will print it one layer at a time, right? So it'll come out looking almost like stacked sandbags, kind of, is probably
Right.
the easiest way to describe it. So that's kind of where 3D printing started, probably like at this point over 20 years ago. And it's become, obviously more and more affordable. Where the future of 3D printing is going. So with FDM, they're actually doing multiple colors now. Like there's a new machine that came out. It's called the Bamboo Carbon XC1, but essentially you could feed up to 16 colors in it at the same time.
Jeez, it keeps them separated in the build.
Yep, and so you'll actually go in and like the best. Like, do you guys remember the old MS Paint, like in Windows?
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're doing. So you're like, oh, I want this piece to be green, this piece to be blue, this piece to be yellow, and the software will adjust the colors and what's being printed to match your color profile.
Oh, that's wild.
Cool.
So that's kind of the future where FDM is going, and it's getting much faster now too. That Bamboo Carbon, it's got a ludicrous mode, almost like a Tesla, where it's printing probably 5 to 6 times faster than what like a traditional FDM is. Now, the more you speed it up, the worse the quality gets. If that makes sense.
I got that Spaceballs reference though. I heard that.
There you go. Yeah. So if you go low and slow on those, you can get a really good print. Where the future is going, if you can see this monster that looks like a mini fridge, that's a Elegoo Saturn, and it prints with resin, which is essentially liquid plastic. And there's different types. Same thing with the filament driven printers. Like there's different types of plastic, PLA, ABS, PETG, just to name a few. Each one's kind of have different characteristics. So, if you want to print something that's going to stay outside and not melt, you're probably going to want to go with like a PETG. But like for your average 3D printer, for something that's going to go on a shelf, like PLA is fine. Resin, on the other hand, it's essentially a vat with a clear bottom, and underneath it you'll have like a high definition screen. So like that one is a 6K. That one's got an upgraded 8. I don't know if you guys can see the red one. That one's got an upgraded 8K screen on it, so you're able to get much finer detail. So let's see if there's something close I can grab that's resin printed versus PLA. Hang on one second. All right, hang on.
Mine's blowing it.
So Tyler, any of the printers that you use, do you have to do some sort of liquid
I think you can
cooling
hear
as
you.
it prints as well?
He can't hear you, Derek. He's got his headphones off.
Oh,
What are you guys laughing at?
no,
Well,
I was
Derek's
asking you.
question.
Eric was talking to you like he could hear you.
Oh
Yeah.
no, sorry.
Now,
What's up, Eric?
with 3D printing, do you have the printers where it requires that liquid cooling? It sits in water, or or just all your printers like that, or it's just a select few of those type of printers?
No, like if you're getting into like water cooled stuff, like that's like your industrial level type stuff.
Gotcha.
So like, yeah, I'm not generating enough heat. Like these FDM printers, like they print about 200 degrees Celsius. The
Mhm.
ones like that run resin, it's essentially a TV screen is the best way to put it. So like it'll
Okay.
light certain pixels or not light certain pixels, and as the light shines through and hits the resin, it will cause it to harden. And then you'll have a piece that'll lift up, and then it'll kind of do layers. I mean, if I could probably turn one on and show you guys, but it's really not that big of a deal. But so I guess I could show a couple of these projects that I've never finished. So this thing, I don't know if you guys can see this. So I had an idea to do Soundwave as a Hiss tank.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is kind of what it is. So this piece is the blue piece is actually printed in FDM. So the advantage of the traditional FDM printers, besides the printers being cheaper, is that they're much larger format. So this one here, that was actually my first 3D printer, that could actually print 500 by 500 by 500 millimeters. So it's about
Are you
30.
printing a blaster right now?
Yeah,
Is that what that is back there?
that's the G1 blaster.
That's a G1 blaster sitting on the windowsill. There's a Prime over there, and who else is it? Astro Train, Starscream. So I moved back home to Utah over a year ago. So with that, I found some of my old stuff. So yeah, and they're like, my parents are like, please get this out of our house.
Nice.
So yeah, so with FDM you can print much bigger. So like you can see the size of this thing, right? Like it's probably almost 20 inches. Gort, are you able, or is someone able to pull up my Instagram?
Yeah, I'll find it quick.
There's a before HasLab. I just want to say I did it first, but I did I did a GI Joe classified scale Hiss tank.
You should slap them with a C and D. Look, I was there first. Just to
that'd
see
be
where it
fun.
would go.
Right. So it's on, I think it's on the 3D Printing Forge page. And if you scroll down, there's some pretty good size comparisons. Like there's one that's got the classified scale Cobra Commander. I made one and I was like, I'm never going to do this again because it was such a pain. So I guess you could say that one never went to market. It was a one and done.
All right, so I got your thing pulled up.
Yeah, so scroll down. Keep going. There you go. Right there in the middle.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So that'll kind of give you an idea of how big those things can go.
Wow.
And what was this printed on?
That was printed on this one. So that one is a FDM print. Like that at the time, I hadn't got it. Well, there wasn't even a larger resin format printer out at that time. I could probably print one of those in resin now. But it's just at that point with resin versus FDM, your resin's much more expensive. So it's like cost of entry. Like, is it even worth it? Like, and like, I didn't keep track of the time on that one. But some of these bigger prints with FDM being so much slower, like if you back out, there should be a scroll up. There should be an Optimus Prime.
Hey, before you go too far, I wanted to point out, before I met you or even interacted with you, I'd seen those Cobra Commander thrones kind of floating around the Snoke updates.
Yep.
And I thought that was super cool. I was like, oh, dude, he's the guy that did that, because I saw him for a while.
Yeah, so that Prime I'll talk about that throne here in a minute. But that prime was about 484 hours is what it took to print
Holy
that one.
shit.
Oh boy.
So, well, here, let me grab that one. Hang on. I should have thought about this. I should have just like had them all on the floor around me. But
Now, Tyler, if I recall, did you have a piece that failed or something happened during the print? Like, are you counting some of that time?
no, I didn't count the fail. So I think I posted a picture of the fail. Like it stopped like right before it.
Is that
printed
on this
I
stream
think-
here?
if you back up, I think it's on there. I'm not a front of actually I think that's the video I posted.
I see the
Big
video.
printing. Maybe I did. Oh, actually click on the Wolverine. I think you can see it in the background.
Yep.
Yeah, so it failed like that far into the front part of that cab, which I think was a couple of days at that point. But here, hang on one second.
That's crazy. Hey, quick, Derek, ask him a question.
I already asked him a question. You know. When are you going to print Fort Max? With all them printers.
All right. Can you guys hear me now?
Damn it, Rick.
Here, so Gort, if you want to flip back, I grabbed the prime. So this is how big this thing is. I don't know if I can even give you a good idea.
Wow.
I mean, it's as big as your head.
Well,
But does it transform?
it does not. So here is the Realms Nelson to kind of put it in perspective. So if you have a third-party ollie,
Yep.
It's not tall enough to ride that ride.
yeah. So the roof of this thing actually pops off, and you can stick your Joes on the inside, and it's got a acrylic,
So to speak.
windows. So yeah, so you can do really cool things like this. The cool thing with, and I keep saying cool, so just go ahead and shock me. With FDM printers, you can do different types of.
In the chat.
What was that?
In the chat.
It's fail plastic reusable.
So good question. At your home, no. There's companies that'll take your failed plastic and they'll recycle it and kind of melt it down and turn it back into filament. There's one machine that I know of that can do it. It is a tabletop machine, but I think it's like almost $2,000. Because obviously you have to put in raw plastic, it heats it up, and then it has to pressurize, and then you have to like extrude it out into essentially a 0.5 millimeter piece of plastic. So there's a lot of error that can go into them. I think eventually you'll be able to get there. It's just not, the tech isn't there yet. And then with FDM printing, so this material, it's called TPU. So it has like a rubber. So if you look at it, like you can
that flex.
Oh, look at that.
Which so it feels like a real tire, or like on those on the tanks, you can do a flexible tread. So like this is one for a snowcat that I'm doing, where you know you can actually get some pretty cool flex out of them.
So the track for the HISS tank probably rubber too, then, right?
Yeah, it is. It's at TP. It might be flexible. They both operate the same way, but yeah, it is flexible. Same thing on the Wolverine that Gort just had up. Yes, I could pull down the Wolverine too. But it's a flexible tread. So like as you roll it, or if you want to like, you know, not pew pew around your living room, but I guess, you know, vroom vroom around your living room, the tank treads will actually move and function. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
And with the kind of back to what I was saying, like with this one, so I don't know if you guys can see the lines in it.
Not really, no.
No, not really.
Well, so when you do get your machines dialed in, the good thing is you can get them pretty smooth, but they're definitely still there. So this project was supposed to be a sound wave, and then like this will kind of come down, and then you see the chair for the driver's actually in there.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. Like when I was a kid, I always wondered like how did the driver climb in there? There was no ladder, right? So put a drop down on it. And then I guess what I could still do was the plan was with the empty back was to do a trouble bubble, but do it in the colors of like a Laserbeak or a Ravage or, etc. So you kind of still get that, I don't know, Soundwave and Minions theme, I guess is probably the best way to put it. But once the HasLab His Tank got announced, a lot of these things I just kind of put on pause and haven't picked them back up yet.
You better beat him to that Snowcat.
Well, Snowcat.
Only a matter of time.
So, as big as the Snowcat would be, I don't know. I mean, they did a His Tank, right? I thought more they would do a polar bear with them, like the snowmobile.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that'll come like retail. Like it's small. It's kind of small.
Yeah. A lot of that small stuff. I would think the same.
Who knows?
Yeah. So.
And you're designing. You're like so. I'll go on like Thingiverse or Shapeways, right? You see all these people. They're selling files or whatever. You're not doing that. You're designing these from the ground up yourself, right?
Depends on what it is. Some of them that I've done, yes. Some no. Or other ones like I'll download and then like you'll get it and it's just like this isn't going to work. So then you have to like take it into Blender or another modeling program and change it or reshape it or clean it up or you can change it, which is kind of one of the cool things in the 3D printing community. Like if you go on Thingiverse, like you'll see things that'll say like remix. Which means somebody's taken somebody's file and they've either upgraded or changed it or done something to it aesthetically, and they'll reload it and they'll put it back up.
Got a question in the chat here.
Let's see. I can't read that from here.
Is a quick sanding with a very sorry. Go ahead.
Get Wolf.
Sorry, is a quick sanding with a very fine grit paper help remove lines well, or does it just mess up the plastic?
That's a good question. So, Gordon, do you still have my Instagram pulled up?
Yeah.
Or do you have it close?
I have one in hand that I did the quicksand to.
There should be one. Let's see. Scroll down.
Up or down?
Where's the lightsaber?
All right, just hold that second. I'll have you hold it up in a second, okay?
Keep scrolling down. Let's see. There should
be
lightsaber. Yeah.
This one.
I thought there was another one. I thought there was a side by side. Keep going.
Oh, there's more than one picture on there too.
Oh, maybe that's it. Click on it. Is it bad that I don't even remember my own Instagram? No. Keep going.
Nope, not here.
Let's see. Maybe it's not.
Going back pretty far now.
I know. I'm getting in the weeds.
Those early Cobra helmets. Or masks, rather.
Here's the throne.
I don't know if y'all talked about it while my internet was being dumb, but there's people in the chat already trying to hit you up for sales there, Tyler.
Go back to the top here.
It's fine. So if you just click on that lightsaber, or if you go find that photo, so that one is actually plastic. So I don't know if you can zoom in on it, but so that one is full FDM printed. So that is that layered plastic essentially. So once you can get the lines down to a pretty good print height distance, so like if you get the lower lines, you'll have like less of a noticeable groove or a layer line. So what you can do is you can do a quick sand. I use, like when I did that one, I did 3 different types of sandpaper, including a wet sand. And then what people will do is they'll use, sometimes they use like automotive Bondo. I use 3M. It's like a green putty paste where you can kind of splotch it on and then kind of use that to help cover in, any areas that may not be as smooth as you want them to be. And then once you let that dry, you can like resand it again, and you can get some pretty smooth finishes on that one, or just on prints in general. That one was actually my first attempt at weathering, as JD was trying to walk me through it. Wasn't the best, but I mean, I think for a first time lightsaber, I think that was it's pretty good.
Did you make a blade for that?
I did not. No? I did not. It's funny. There's files out there now that you can actually print like the collapsible blades, like the cheaper lightsabers you can buy like at Target or Walmart. With the flip out blade, like you can actually print those in place now. So it's pretty cool. And then for snowcats, that's actually what this one is. This one was modeled by a buddy of mine named Steve, where now that they announced Snow Job, I think I'm going to go back and finish this one, but you can kind of just see from the size of this thing, and like this is one of its missiles. It's like
wow.
The missile itself is probably 6 inches. So
That's what she said.
well, I know Ricky doesn't know what 6 inches looks like, but
I've been lying to my I've been telling my wife about it for a decade. Can't burn me with the truth.
so
Hey, it may be short, but it's skinny too. So,
wow. Okay. Yeah. So there's some pretty cool things you can do with the advantage of resin versus traditional FDM printing is it cuts down on the need to sand. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, if you want a really, really nice finish, you can still sand it. But like, this is a canopy that I printed for that Soundwave Hiss tank, and I haven't sanded it at all. And you can like see how smooth it is. Like, they're really
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons, right? So with FDM, you have more sanding. With resin, there's more chemicals involved, and there's more, I guess you'd say, post-processing. So these resin printers, so when they get done, actually, I think probably won't be able to see it. It's printing in black, so you wouldn't be able to see it. But like,
quick, Derek, ask him a question.
No.
Damn it.
so like this is a build plate. So this is what your print actually comes up on, and it'll print upside down.
Okay.
So like,
Okay.
so it'll go up and down. So like it'll dip itself in the plastic, the light turns on, it pulls up, goes back down, prints the next layer, so on and so on. So once it's done, like your items will be on a spur, if you will, so almost like injection molding. So I didn't finish this one because I figured we could show it off tonight. These are actually Cobra Sky Troopers, like the ones that rode in the fangs and used the jetpacks.
We had the gas mask looking things.
Yeah,
on.
see that.
Yeah, so kind of hard to see. So another show on the network. So little tease. So these will be going to the Shelf Gravy crew to paint up.
Nice.
On an upcoming episode. Sorry, JD, if I'm your thunder thief, but
spoiler alert.
So once it's done printing and you take it off the build plate, you have to wash it. So depending on the type of resin, you could use water washable resin. I find it doesn't work as well. So these ones will get washed in the yellow machine. If you guys can see that one. Inside of that, it's filled with denatured alcohol. So
nice.
You have to use that to kind of rinse and clean these. It'll get off the excess resin that didn't harden. And then once they're washed, you'll let them air dry, which is currently what these ones are doing. You'll have to break these off of their spurs, and then you have to cure them, which that yellow machine can also do. But essentially, you're curing it with a UV light, and that's what causes it to kind of like finish hardening. So it won't continue to kind of cure unevenly or kind of warp over time, if that makes sense. So like it's a lot messier of a process. Like if you spill resin, like it's not easy to clean up. You shouldn't be handling it with bare hands either. Most places will tell you to use like a nitrile glove just to kind of protect your hands. And then even some of the other early resins, that's actually what, I don't know if you guys can see it over my shoulder, but there's actually a mask up there between some of the early resins and that 3M putty. The only putty I've ever read that said that it can cause deafness by inhaling.
Jesus.
Right.
So
I'm
that
like,
was
your lungs
the
and
question
fucks your
I was
ears.
gonna
That's
ask.
crazy.
Like the fumes with the resin, like how have they gotten? I know they used to be pretty bad. I know I've read some companies have started making ones that didn't start supposedly don't smell anymore, but
it's come the smell has come down quite a bit. I'll say, some manufacturers are worse than others. The brand I use is pretty good, but also with the new machines. Here, hang on.
Tyler getting a workout tonight.
Derek, ask him a question.
Hey Tyler, how's Ricky? How do you really feel about Ricky?
What did I just walk into?
Nothing. Me
Oh,
entertaining
okay.
myself.
All right. So the newer machines, they actually come with an air purifier built in. It just plugs into a USB.
Oh, not bad.
Okay.
So and that helps quite a bit too. So
How often do you have to change something like that?
depends on how many hours you run your machines. It's just kind of based on hours. I think that one is like for 500 hours. You're supposed to swap it out, and it's like a carbon air filter. So it works.
So you can't
pretty
clean and
well.
reuse. You have to totally replace.
Yeah, you have to buy just a new charcoal insert to go inside the housing itself. You can reuse over and over
Gotcha.
again.
Gotcha.
Tyler, do all your printers run off the same program, or does each one come with its own special thing?
So good question. The FDM ones will run off. I use the same software, and the resin ones, despite manufacturers, like I have some Crealities and I have some Elegoo's, like they can all run off the same software. It's just kind of like anything else, like Android versus Apple. There's people that are kind of in each camp of which software. You actually have multiple options. Of what software you want to use for a slicing program for FDM or resin.
Well, I got a quick question for you, but it involves a little show and tell. So I need somebody to pull me up if they can. I went and grabbed literally the only two 3D printed things I own, and this is the friend of mine made these for me. This is why I asked you the first question, because it's gonna be hard for y'all to see in here, but you see the lines.
I kind of see them.
Like it's hard to pick them up, but they're rough. Like it's rough, and it's just supposed to be just something to put in the back of a display. And I was trying my hardest to work them out, but it's really because it's embossed almost, so it's like 3-dimensionally printed down. So it's hard to get in there and grind them. But that's why I was kind of asking you about the lines. But then you brought up. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's different things. Like if you want to do signs, like Gort, do you still have my IG up? Sorry, man.
Yeah, I got it.
So I think if you scroll down, there's like a Star Wars logo that I did. So for people that want like shelf pieces or like display pieces for like name brand stuff, let's see.
Like, is this savable, or is this something I just need to get a newer print of this?
No, at that point, it kind of is what it is. So there's some things you could do. Oh, so there's there's a Star Wars sign. So I use that. That was in my Hot Toys display for a while. And if you like scroll over one brink, I think it'll show. So it'll actually like separate. So if you wanted it like lengthwise instead of stacked, keep going one more.
Did you call me Brink?
Did I?
He did.
No, he said keep going.
Sorry, man. More. Like I guess I'm just used to Brink driving.
Yeah,
Gort.
There's worse things you could be called. He could have called you Ricky. So
that's 100%.
Well,
true.
I'm not sure how Brian feels about it, but
twins.
So you could see things like that, and I did a color swap, right? So that's like the gold is connected to the black. So you could do things like that. I was wondering, like the way that thing looked, or that piece you just had, it looked like I thought it was going to be a lithograph where you can actually take a photo and almost print it in a negative. So when you shine a light through it, it'll actually look like a photograph.
I got you. I know
yep. I had.
It kind of does work that way. Now that you're saying that, and I'm holding it up. It kind of is a lithograph. Like
I got something like that upstairs. My friend took one of my wedding pictures and did that. Where if you hold it up, you can see the whole thing.
Yeah,
it does work. See, I'm holding my camera behind my phone, so it does work as a lithograph.
So that's actually what that looks like. So, and when you do that, to kind of make it hollow on the inside, you can print it in what they call base mode. So essentially prints it hollow without supports on the inside. But when you do that, you have to usually kind of thicken the walls a little bit for stability. So that may be causing some of your roughness too. But no, you should be able to sand that fine. Start with a 400 and go to 800 and then a 1200. Gotcha. And if it's PLA plastic, you can get it wet and do a wet sand. And
I've heard of wet sanding. That's what I'm going to show you on the next one. Is I actually did the wet sand to this one. I'm a huge Batman nerd. Before Mafex put out the Hush Batman, I was trying to make one for my set, And I had a friend of the same guy who did that one. He found for me this file of it's from a statue. Like it's from like a 9 or 10 inch statue, and he found the file for the eagle's head gargoyle for him to stand on. And I bring this out because two things we talked about tonight. You could see these were where the pegs for the statue plugged in, but I actually bondoed that back hole right there. I heard you say earlier that some people use Bondo. I actually did Bondo on that. But then I also did the wet sand, and you can see still kind of where the lines used to be at, but it's so much smoother when you touch them. When I first got it, it was ridged like crap. And then I just have to go back and repaint it, and I just never really got around to it. But this, would you say this is, what kind of print would you say this is compared to, this looks like PLA. Is this the same stuff?
Yeah, PLA. So that's kind of one of the other cool things with the FDM printer. So you can print. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if I want to show you my messy shop, but there's like tons of different spools of material, and then they can do. Jokingly refer to it as like designer PLA, but Gort, if you pull up my IG again and find the Groot,
Right
that
there.
baby Groot right there. That's actually printed in a PLA that contains wood.
No kidding.
Wood.
So when you're printing, it actually smells almost like a campfire. Like it smells really good.
That's cool.
And
That's
then
cool
instead of using paint, you can use wood dye or like wood stain. So like if you back out, I think there's one after I painted his eyes. If you scroll up a little bit, and the head is actually hollow, so it works like a planter. So you can put like a succulent in his head. Maybe I thought I did. Maybe
it might have been on that same one because that one had multiple photos.
Oh, maybe. So there you can see the back of the head where you can put a plant in. But yeah, I thought I had a finished one on there. Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean,
Got a question for you
In the chat.
from the chat.
Sure. Let's see. What does that say, Tyler? Was everything you learned as you go, or did you use resources to figure things out? All right. So that's a good question. So I watched before I decided what machine I wanted. Like I watched a lot of videos, and it's just like anything else. Like there's a bunch of people on YouTube. Uncle Jesse's a pretty popular one. 3D
I've
printing.
watched some of his stuff before.
Yeah, he does a lot of cosplay, like 3D print stuff. 3D printing nerd. But it's just like anything else, man. There's reviewers of 3D printers. Like it gets kind of crazy. But even though, those machines I showed you earlier, I have two of them. They're the exact same machine, the exact same parts. They do not print the same way. So each one you have to like fine tune it. It's kind of like a car's engine. So like you'll have to level the bed. You may have to adjust the gantries on them. And then just as you got to kind of keep in mind too, is like it prints with heat both at the nozzle and at the bed. So over time, the more you print, it'll actually start to warp. And there's some different things you can do to combat that. Like they have like BL touches where there's a little probe that sits on the side of your print head, and it'll actually go around and it'll like put like a pin down, and it'll do it around the bed. So it's creating like a digital map of the bed. So it'll kind of help auto level it for you. But yeah, so there is a lot of fine tuning to these machines, even after certain prints, or like you'll be running the same print, like those gold thrones. There's actually a really cool picture on there, Gort, if you pull it up, where in 1 month I just laid out all the spools of the gold filament that we went through. It was actually funny. The manufacturer actually saw it and was like, "Hey, can we use this?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then they ended up sending me like 4 or 5 rolls for free, which, I mean, a roll of PLA, like cheap PLA, is like $25 maybe. So, there's the finished group. If you go down one that we were just talking about, right there in the middle.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So use the wood stain on him, and then just use regular like black acrylic and white paint for his eyes. But yeah, it was pretty
cool.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you can zoom in, but there's different there's different finishes. So you can print it smooth, but that one it's actually printed bumpy on purpose to have a texture, so it feels like bark.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. That's like what they have, like experimental modes or like vase mode where it'll print one line and it'll print a vase in one piece kind of a thing. So there's some different things you can do, but
I didn't see that filament one you're talking about.
keep going up. There it is, right there in the middle.
Yeah.
So that was 1 month. We went through all of that plastic making those thrones, which was crazy. That was probably the first one that put us on the map. I want to say we sold
30 rolls. Wow.
Yeah, 30 rolls of plastic. And I think I want to say we sold, it was about 110 thrones in a month.
Wow.
I mean, we put them up, I think it was like $45 shipped for one. And yeah, so I sent a couple out for free to a couple of people just to kind of, hey, do you want one of these kind of a thing? But it worked. And that really kind of was what got the 3D Printing Forge page going. And then after that was our second project I did with Mickey. So that was if you look at those Cobra Commander hoods. So Hasbro came out and said that they weren't going to do a hooded Cobra Commander version. So I'm like, okay, well, we will.
I never said that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did
a whole thing on Instagram where it was racist based, and you can't have.
Yeah, it was. It was during one of their live streams.
We talked about this a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they asked, and they're like, "Look, we understand it's not a pointed hood, but we want to be sensitive," which I get. But again, it's one of those things where if you're a collector and you want one, you have a 3D printer, you can make one.
But it's fucking dumb because what's next? Wolfie and I can't wear our hoodie jackets no more because that's ridiculous. That's a whole different kind of conversation. But that's a whole. But that's a ridiculous attachment there. He was wearing like a snow ski mask. Like it's crazy. It's dumb.
Yeah,
really call it a ski mask. I mean,
it was more like a cloth, like he had a tablecloth across his head.
Like Beachhead had a ski mask.
Yeah, the baklava. No, that's a Greek dessert. Balaclava. That's what it is.
Yeah, but baklava is good too.
Yes, it is. But it was actually Mick did a really good job. We went back and forth for probably 2 months working on that project, where he would come up with something, I would give feedback, we'd do a test print, nope, this isn't going to work, send him a version of it, nope, not going to work. I'll give Mick his credit, he ended up sculpting the face and then dropping the hood over the face to get it to look right. So there's a few others out there on the market. I mean, I'm going to sound biased and say mine looks the best, but I think if you go back in there again, Gort, which I should probably just stop bouncing back and forth, but there's one that Dan from Toy Galaxy posted. Shout out to Dan. He's been.
Are we going up or down?
I think it's down. He's been a good friend. He's another New Hampshire guy. So when I was living out there, we'd bump into each other occasionally.
Oh, he came down to RetroCon one time, so that's a pretty good drive for him.
Yeah, he's super personable, super nice guy. It's one where they're wearing suits. Yeah, he put them on like
the
Marvel
red tie and all that.
Marvel Legends suited bodies. Hang on, go back up for a second.
Yeah, it looks like I'm too low here.
Right there. Nope, underneath Skeletor.
That's it there.
I think that's it. Nope, that's not it. Dang it, Dan.
Bodies.
That's him again. But no, keep going down. That's when he got one of our thrones.
He had him on the Samuel L. Jackson body, right?
I don't. No, I think it was Chameleon is who it was on.
Yeah,
there's
got to be up.
There's Harvey's, whatever that thing was from Dragon Ball.
I think that was the picture of the two lightsabers back to back too. Next to each other was we just passed it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for his tag on the photo.
Right.
Where's the photo? Where's Waldo?
Well, and that's one of the. There it is.
Right there.
Yeah, I love that photo.
That's cool as hell.
It's kind of hard to see there, but I think the drape of the hood is more natural on ours than what some of the other. I think some of the other people, they exaggerated it too much.
I see some that are like real pointy in the
Yeah,
front.
there's
Comes
some
down
pointy
too far.
ones.
That or
like
they're super flared out, like almost to his shoulders. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, there's the one. Well, and it sucks. So we worked on this for probably 2 months, 2.5 months, and right before we went to market, another guy put his head out for free to be able to download and print on your own. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Dickhead.
But to be fair, I think that head looks like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, like with all the tentacles like coming off of it. So, and then shout out to JD. So when we took these to market, we did a unpainted version, or you could do a painted version. So it ended up being basically a three-way project, so to speak, between Mickey, myself, and JD. So if anyone got one of those painted heads, they actually came through Shelf Gravy. So, and then we had a card made up that kind of came with each one in a set too. And I think when we initially started, I think we were doing the painted set, and it ended up being I think it was like $85. And it came with both. It came with two heads. So it came with that head, and then if you back out Gort, there's a larger Cobra version that was like a comic book. There you go. So I think that was D Amazing's photo, right? I think so.
Yeah, you got him tagged in there.
Yeah. So, so we sent a set to D. He did a great job with it too. And you can see the larger, more comic book one there. So, and I'm still trying to work on a kit bash to get him in like the black trench coat from the comic. I don't know if you guys know that comic cover, but yeah, so it looked really cool. Then we did a few other things, like we worked with and I guess I'm saying we, so my 18-year-old, well, he'll be 18 here in a couple weeks. My 18-year-old son does a lot of this for me too. So as I've been out of town for work or travel, like he would step in, change prints, swap things out, and then I would come back and kind of repackage and send things out. So like if you back out one Gort, there was one that they did in black. Scroll down. It looked really good. It was on the black and red. There it is right there, left side. Yeah. So that's one that Nikki did. I really like the way that one looks.
I know these are this head sculpt. I know I've talked to you, Tyler. This is definitely one I'm getting for not the Mickey Mouse Commander when it comes out, but if they do a general release with the actual proper logo, I want this hooded head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they will.
Yeah, so it was funny. So I was just expecting like a big pop on these, just kind of based on what the throne did. And it's just kind of weird, like when you're getting into these into these hobbies like this, right? And I'll give it up to Pink and what he and Kelly do over at Crashbox. Like, they've built their own kind of internal audience, and they've dedicated a lot of time and effort to that. And one day, hopefully, maybe. But coming off the success of the throne, we're like, okay, we need to go ahead and like pre-make a bunch of these things so they're ready to go. Because I mean that's the bad thing with 3D printing, right? Is like when you start putting things up. And one of the last projects we did was the Fang. And like I posted a picture of the Fang, and I remember it was over 4th of July, and my phone would not stop going off. And it was people, what do I got to do to get one? How long is it going to take? Can I get in line? And like I'm running it through IG and Facebook. Like I never bothered to set up a website, which I guess I should probably do if we're going to keep doing this. So it's a very manual process.
Yeah, you had that at the
You should
top here.
Yeah,
you should
so
do something for on YouTube also. Like
what was that?
announcement. You get a YouTube page. Go back to YouTube again. Put them up. Put the videos up.
We did a video. We actually did a video for the Cobra Commander head. I think it's on the IG. Like it's pretty funny. Like, but yeah. So there's 2 of the fangs that were completed.
You slip us a discount, we can talk about you on our show.
So those ones there are actually full
Like it.
resin. So you can see they're super smooth. I do know that he went in and painted them, and then he There's another guy in the Joe groups who essentially takes the original decal sheets from the original Joes and then just upscales them and then prints them. He sent me a few.
Now, does that gun rotate? Like it looks like it's on that ball hinge. Does it rotate on the front of that?
On the very front.
The blaster, yeah. The cannon.
No, they're glued. Those are glued in place. So like right now, if you wanted to order one of those kits from us, they're $100. That includes shipping.
The Fang, that's the price for the Fang kit. You
said?
Yep.
The Fang's $100. That's full resin printed. If you want a decal sheet, I can put you in touch with the guy who makes them. I think he charges $20 for a decal sheet.
Nice.
Shipped. Not hateful, but it really makes it pop. Like those ones look great. Now, mind you, he's painted a ton on those things there. So, but they're printed in the correct color. So your missiles will come red. The body's black. The rest of the pieces are essentially gray or red, depending on what it is. So if you don't want to paint it and you just want to glue it together, looks great. You're off and running. Or if you want to take time and paint it, you can see like there's some really good. It turns out really well. And those helmets that you can see there, those are the ones that I just showed you guys on there. So, and those were done. Mark designed those helmets. So I'm not selling those helmets. Those are through Mark. So you can get those directly through him. And Mark's got a pretty cool story. So he started off designing weapons, and now he's got to the point where he's having his weapon kits made through injection molding in China, and then
nice.
And then the kits are shipped to him. Actually, BBTS is getting ready to. It might be on their website already, but you're going to be able to get his kits through BBTS, which is pretty cool for somebody who started off making stuff.
Does he have a Facebook page or Instagram page?
Yeah, it's Mark. Yeah, it's Mark II Designs. He's a great guy.
I've seen that before. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's a military vet, so it's kind of cool. He's got a passion for Joes. So yeah.
Two questions for you.
Sure.
The resin printed, are they fragile? Like compared to, do you have to be? Do you need to be careful that the resin's going to break or?
I will say if you just use like regular resin out of the bottle, it's strong to a point is probably the best way to put it. So like it will break where PLA will probably tend to bend first. So like this is a track for the Triple T. So I mean it's a big piece, like it's solid, like it's not gonna break. Gotcha. Like I can put a lot of pressure on this, but if I throw it at the ground, it might break or part of it might break off. Now, what
don't
you can
throw it to the ground.
Don't drop it. Now there's a tenacious resin that's designed to be mixed with your regular resins to give it more
flexibility.
And make it a little bit stronger. So we had a couple fangs get broken in transit, not very many, and it was usually the receiver would get it and send a picture, and they're like, "You're not going to believe this," and it would, they'd open it and it would just be smashed. But that was usually on the mail carrier; it wasn't on us. But yeah, I mean, considering how many fangs we shipped out, and I think maybe two that maybe three that I can think of that broke along the way. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty good. There you go.
What glue would you recommend when gluing this together?
Resin or PLA?
Glue?
Yeah, for
resin glue. Okay.
No. I'm saying for what type of print? Because
resin. For the resin.
Resin. I usually suggest the Gorilla Glue gel.
Okay.
Like that stuff works the best if you have access to it. Like you can actually use resin as a glue. So meaning like if you have two pieces, you could like dip it in resin, put it together, and then hit it with the UV light, and it'll like seal it all together. If it's PLA, you can use regular super glue. I use this stuff called Gloop. It's specially designed for PLA prints. So Like if you get one of our Wolverines or like Vamps, like those will come pretty much put together, or large portions of it will come put together, and they'll be put together with the gloop. Let's see. I'm not 100% sure, but I think 3D printing is only limited by the size of the machine, and I'm taking time to.
That was in response to somebody's question of, can you print stuff like forks and spoons and knives and plates and cups?
Yep.
And I think that's the answer to it.
Yeah, you can. You would just want to be careful, obviously, if it's going to be food safe. They do make food safe plastics and resins to use. But if you look at the future of 3D printing, University of Maine just printed a boat.
That's crazy to me.
Like a full size boat. Like it's pretty amazing.
Weren't they doing houses too? Someone did a house.
Yeah. So 3D printing, I think, is just going to be more like, it's just going to take off. Like when you think of, Star Trek, when they had the replicators, like I think that's really what it's going to end up being like. So for the houses that they use, they actually print in concrete, believe it or not. Yeah, so they can put in liquid concrete, and it essentially works similar to what the FDM printers do. But yeah, you can literally print almost anything you want now.
That's crazy.
Where's the best place to get resin and filament? I actually order most of my stuff from Amazon. So
go Amazon.
Yeah, there's different brands you can use. So if anybody wants to get in, and I probably should not say this, but if anyone wants to get into this, hit me up.
Just message Tyler and buy his stuff. Don't.
Well, I mean, if you want to get, what's funny, man, there's some people that are like, oh, I want to get a machine. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's great. Just remember, there's a bit of a learning curve. And I've had some people that are like, hey, you want to buy my machine? I'm like, you've had it for like 3 months. What are you talking about? And it's just like, it's too frustrating. Okay. But I mean, like, I know Ace is doing it a little bit. I know Chris and Kelly are doing it. So, I've helped them. Like, I'm more than willing to help people get into the hobby. Just don't expect to come out with perfect prints probably for the first couple of months. It's going to take you some time. There is a bit of a learning curve. But yeah, so you can actually get printers off of Amazon too. Just depends on what it is. Or if you're near a micro center, you can actually go in and just pick up a printer. So,
yeah, a couple of those around here.
Yeah, I used to go to when I lived in New Hampshire. I used to go to the one down there by Harvard and grab stuff.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You see this comment that they're doing bone grafts now with them.
What he's doing with bone grafts, a video of 3D printing parts, people. Yeah, so medical field, or I think we were joking about it before the show started. So dental offices will use 3D printing to do like temporary crowns or caps. You're seeing it more in like jewelry making now, where they can actually make a mold and then pour, like if it's gold or silver, like into the mold and make the ring. So you're able to get like finer details and things. Medical field, like you're seeing a lot of stuff with amputees now, where they're building arms and legs and different things. So they're really amazing machines. And I think just as we continue to go on, the future is just going to get brighter with these things. And hopefully I'm not boring everybody. I feel like I'm getting a little technical, but
this is all super interesting.
Questions are pouring in.
Yeah,
I know, Tyler, we don't know each other very well, but I'd have told you, shut up, this shit's boring, let's move on if it was boring, man.
Esteban,
it's interesting.
With how much time do you dedicate to designing before you print something?
I think it depends on how complex the design is, right? Like that Snoke's throne was kind of out there in bits and pieces, and I
just
took
like
it.
him.
Yeah, exactly.
Comes in 2 pieces,
right? But I printed it, and then I was like, "This sucks." And then I like went in, cleaned it up, changed a few things. But
Tyler, it's from the sequels. You can't keep it from sucking.
It sucks by design, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I would say, well, like I said, like when Mick and I were going back and forth with that Cobra Commander head, there was probably, Actually, I could probably look on that laptop over there and see, but I want to say there's probably 10 or 11 versions of that head
Oh.
before we got to the one that we were like, okay, this is the one. So
Put an extra wave in there.
Yeah. No, one too many. Take it back. Take it back.
right?
This one's
What-
waving to the right. The other one's waving to the left. What kind of wind tunnel's this guy in?
is there anything else you guys want to see? I mean, I got a Fang handy. There's a Wolverine. There's a Vamp.
What is the we've talked about it off air like
Mhm.
before, like in some of our hangouts. I want to say it's the Mamba, the big Cobra jet that has like the 3 cockpits. Is that the Mamba?
I don't have a Mamba.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
though?
I
It
know
has,
what
like,
you're
a
talking about, Ricky.
helicopter, and
Yeah.
it's part helicopter, part jet, and has
Uh-huh.
the two could eject off of it, but then they
Yeah.
have the main cockpit still.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna make
Yeah,
one of
that's the
those?
Mamba. Yeah.
You gonna make one?
Mamba.
Do it.
I-
Do it.
Nobody's asked me for that one. I will say stuff that's in the shoot right now. So
The whale.
yes, actually.
Yes. Really?
Uh-huh.
Dude, I was joking. Hell yes.
So
Bridge
obviously,
layer.
huh?
Bridge layer.
Nice.
Actually, you could tweak the Wolverine real quick. Here, hang on. Let me show you.
Derek, quick, ask him a question. This is my new running gag tonight, dude.
Oh,
I'm
is
entertaining
it?
myself.
Didn't notice.
I've been super quiet. I have to keep myself entertained.
So I think this is another one that we may have to put into circulation now that CoverGirl got announced, or at least that's who I think of.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
oh
me
yeah,
too.
definitely.
Yeah.
you guys see this, and then the turret will actually spin.
Jesus.
But, like-
I think she's supposed to be coming out soon.
Yeah. So like
People
this.
already got her.
So
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, really?
right. So
They've been. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tyler.
no, I was just gonna say the missile rack can come off. So I mean, we could probably turn this into a bridge layer fairly easily.
Oh.
My neighbor wants to know about the ferret 4-wheelers.
What was
That's probably his third time he's asked that tonight.
this toll booth came with the bridge layer?
Yes. Toll booth.
All right, so you just gotta wait for him to get announced.
Toll booth Willie.
So, kind of one of the things that I would say that, like some of the guys who sell these finished products, unlike third-party transformers, we try not to step on each other's toes.
That's nice.
So actually, Mark, the same guy who did the guns that we referred to earlier, he's got a ferret that's out. I actually printed. what
Mark
did I
II
say?
toys. You said
Yeah, so Mark
He
II
has a ferret.
designs.
Mark II designs.
Yeah, so he's at a point now where he's more just selling the files. He's not necessarily
Gotcha.
selling a finished product anymore. I actually printed a body for him on that ginormous printer, that resin printer back there. That was, I think you might be able to buy it. It was a Kickstarter, so the larger formats really weren't available. But he asked if I would print him a body for one. So I think it's out there. I think you can download the files from his Etsy page, I think is where he has them. But yeah, so like he's done a ferret, so I'm not gonna do one. I
Gotcha.
don't want to step on his toes.
Have you thought?
Defiant.
No.
No.
GI Joe headquarters.
Mm.
Like if you just recreating the original toy that.
Yeah, I've had
Was it
some.
the Cobra Dome?
I've had a couple people ask about the Joe
The Terror
base. And again, it comes down to like how much money do you want to spend, because a lot of these things are going to take a lot of time and effort. And then when you include the designing time, now the base is fairly square. It's a lot of right angles, so I mean it should go pretty quickly. Round circles still kind of present problems in 3D printing. You'll tend to get kind of a octagonal kind of shape. Like round edges are not necessarily 3D printing's friend.
I don't know why he said cheers, mate. That's my neighbor. That jackass isn't English. He lives right next door, dude. He needs to relax. Relax, Eric. Cheers, mate.
But I do know somebody who I talked to them today who is considering doing a Terror Dome.
Yes.
So
That'd be
that's the
big.
case.
Wolf scale terror drone. That'd be pretty fucking big.
Big.
Well, I don't think they're planning on doing the whole thing. I think they're planning on doing like a cutaway, you know,
Okay,
or like a
yeah.
corner
Okay.
kind of a thing. So you'll be able to see the inside of it, or if you wanted to display it the other way, you know, he made a comment of, you know, want to see the HasLab his tank pulling out from underneath it, and I'm like, good luck. That's quite a adventurous.
Same way I talked about the
project.
flag when we were talking about a 1/12 flag. Same thing. I said do it in bits and pieces and do cutaways, and it can be just a small part, just so you can display out of it. You don't need the whole 12-foot flag. You just need.
Well,
part of
I
it.
don't think Hasbro. I think they're going to do it for 3 3/4 eventually. I think
I could see him reissuing a flag,
Yeah,
like doing it through
for
Hasbro
3/4,
Pulse.
yeah.
3/4, yeah, but not
for
quite.
a HasLab. I could definitely see them doing that.
Ricky, how do you figure? I'm sorry, Tyler. How do you figure out like the scale of something? Like I know you're doing 12 scale.
How dare
But,
you?
like, how do
badmouth
you-
Tyler like that?
Mhm.
Sorry, but, like how do you figure out how big to make something so it doesn't look too stupid or too small?
A lot of it is trial and error. So with Joe's, they're really not a true 1/12 scale figure. Depending on the Joe, they can. I would say the females are probably closer to 1/12, but like some of the other ones are probably like Sarge is probably closer to 1/10 scale, right? So you know, you can kind of design it to about what you think it would be. Like with some of the designs when I first got started, like Hasbro put up all the old blueprints of the old 3 3/4 vehicles. So I'd almost use those like a stencil to kind of work as a base and then kind of tweak around it. And what you'd find is like you would do like I actually went online and found a train scale calculator where you would put in the scale that it is and then put in the scale that you would want it to be at. So from going from 1/18 scale to 1/12 scale, you have to up it by like 150%. And then I would find like they never fit correctly. So, and then it's like, okay, well, we just wasted 3 days and a bunch of plastic. So let's take it to 160 and we'll try it again. So there is a little bit of trial and error in it. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Wolfie, you're muted, brother.
Sorry. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Sweet.
Trial and error. Great.
Best guesses, and then trial and error.
See that? Now I've noticed with vehicles and stuff when before like all these bigger stuff started coming out. We've talked about it before, trying to get like motorcycles. Like I was big into Mezco one time, trying to get like a nice motorcycle for the blade and all that. Is you have if he's 1/12, you go 1/10 for the vehicle because if you get a 1/12 vehicle, it always looked just a tiny bit too small. It looked kind of weird. But if you go that next size up, it made it look a little more natural. Do you find that's the same thing when you're doing these things?
Yeah, same thing. Or something like the Wolverine where you have like a tight space to kind of get him in and out. So like you'll think you'll have the math and then the next thing you know is they don't sit correctly. Or with the Fang, except where I had some parts laying around. It's funny, man. Like if you came in here, it looks like a war zone. Literally, like parts are blown apart. There's stuff laying around everywhere. But what we ended up doing with the Fang was, we did the math. Even at 160, like it just didn't sit right. And part of it is like the Fang is just a stupid looking thing, right? Like
design, yeah.
Well, I mean, if the guy like sticks his head up too far, he's going to cut his own head off, right? So.
Which I like that you address in your pictures.
Yeah.
We'll touch the eject button.
But yeah, so like you have to kind of like finagle them in there, and like we ended up having to stretch it out just a little bit longer just to make it so it didn't like look stupid. Like here, hang on.
Hey Ricky, ask him a question.
Oh, beat you to it.
Unfortunately, it doesn't
What's wrong,
work 'cause
Derek?
I
You
don't
tired
ask people
tonight?
questions when they don't have headphones on.
Derek, are you tired tonight?
No, I'm good.
You like?
We're all sitting back and learning.
I'm taking it all in, man. It's so much. No, I'm serious. It's so much to take in.
Yeah, that looks.
Yeah, I like
So, and I mean, and this is after we improved it, but I mean, like if you look at that blade, like it's super
Because
close to his head.
in real life, helicopter blades flex while they're rotating. Most people think they spin in a straight line, but they flex. So in
Right.
real life, that would probably still take the top of his head off.
So-
The more you know.
And this is the funnest part.
God, I want one. Look, I'm gonna give you my address as soon as the show's over.
Is there a way to
Go
for
my
you to
struggle
modify that to make the gun rotate in the front?
You could. The only thing that would be is you'd have to figure out how you'd want it to mount, right? So like you could essentially print a peg, because right now the way that the way it prints is like it looks like a mushroom, right? So it's got a dome and a piece and a stem, if you will, that like plugs into the helicopter, and then in that indent, the plug for the gun kind of fits into that. So if you hollowed out the back of it and you could put another piece in it, you could essentially make it rotate, kind of similar to like what the blades do. So like I made it so the blades can come off, or you'd have to make the gun into a pin and then slide it through, and that would allow it to kind of spin, if that would make sense.
Yeah.
You could glue the pin in place in the body of it, and it would still allow it to spin. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Articulation is not my strong point.
I don't think he meant just the gun rotate. I think he means the whole ball, like on the Hoth base, how that big dome ball thing kind of rotates.
The ion cannon.
Yeah, that thing. I don't know about Star Wars. Don't talk to me like that.
Actually,
I don't know. Maybe I'm not understanding the question then.
Okay, so
you answered it. You know.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was asking the other. Then I was asking the other one. Then.
Yeah, because it was like the original one, the original Fang. It has that rotating ball in the front for the gun. It rotates all around. You can literally point it everywhere because it's on a ball. It's on a ball peg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's
all right. I thought you meant like rotating it like clock, like circular.
No.
You're saying like make it into a ball peg essentially,
right? Like making a ball joint. You know,
you could.
It'd be complicated though.
No, the shape itself wouldn't be complicated. It would be getting it not to break, putting it in, if that makes sense, if it's resin. Or you'd almost have to print the entire thing in like a flexible material. Just ball pegs and resin don't really get along very well.
What if you put like a rubber gasket, like you just made the hole a little bit bigger and then you like put like a grommet in there so it tightened, you could put it in there with the ball peg, so once it's in, the grommet holds it inside the bigger ball.
I don't know. I might have to play with that idea actually.
Right. You probably would have to get an original Fang and play with and then look at the engineering for that and then reference it. So
right,
just to come up with an idea for it.
Yeah.
Derek, why gotta be difficult for?
Yeah, but I mean, so I know you guys are asking for other stuff in the pipeline, right? Like, so I have a striker. I have a rattler. Trying to think what else.
How big is the striker?
Ridiculous.
Like the bigger than the HasLab one they just did.
Well, HasLab's 3 3/4. We're
little
talking
baby
like
feet.
Classified size.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
I need
So
I'm looking for a
Big
classified
motherfucker.
size because they did the O-ring size. So
yeah, I mean, hey man, you want to classify? We can make it happen.
Defiant.
Yeah.
No,
10-foot tall space shuttle.
no, we're not. We are not there yet. But like,
Yeah.
Rattler. I mean, there's quite a few. I mean, they're on. I have Vamp 2, the Stinger, which I don't know, Gord, if you still have the IG up, you can pull some of those up there. They're actually pretty cool looking.
The Stinger's on there?
Mm-hmm. I try to make it look funny. Like, I think
Stinger.
Yeah, the black Jeep.
Yeah,
for
you know the
Cobra.
guy that sang Fields of Gold.
Vamp with the
Right,
yeah, I
right
see it.
there.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Stinger. Yeah.
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 There's also a Stingray too, right? No,
Yes,
Stunner.
There is a Stingray
There's a
also.
Stingray.
Cobra Stun. Cobra
Deep-
Stun.
Deep
There's a
Six was with
Stun.
the Stingray.
The Stun is the one I think that splits in the front.
Yep. So
Yeah.
But there
I
is a
had-
Stingray that's about
I have a
Also for the Jones.
stun.
Right.
I have the whale.
What about Mobat?
You do have the whale?
I thought the
we were
Stingray
talking
was
about that,
the-
but you do have it.
I thought
Yeah.
the Stingray was the jet that turned into a submarine with deep six.
So the whale's a work in progress. The shark is done.
No, that's a shark.
that's a
Ooh,
shark.
okay.
No,
And I saw some people doing some pretty cool kit bashes. They were taking one of the, I think it was a Buzz Lightyear figure from the new movie, and they were turning it into a deep six.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that actually looks kind of cool.
but
And there's
yeah, Ricky, Deep Six came with the shark. The
Yeah,
first
it's a
version,
shark.
and they're very
Yeah.
big,
yeah,
ugly ass.
and there's a vamp. That's an early vamp. My new vamp looks better. So that was a lot of like simple shapes and blocks. But
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Thunder
picture
Machine.
is the new
Briggs
vamp.
asking about the Thunder Machine. Are you gonna do the Thunder Machine?
I have a Thunder Machine.
There you go.
What a
Briggs.
Mobat?
No Mobat. Have a Thunder Machine. I got I did some
Submersible, high-speed
some
attack
Harley
and
bikes that can be
reconnaissance.
turned into. Sorry, was I talking over somebody?
No,
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
good.
No,
Okay.
I
You're on
was
the wrong show. Be worried about that, man. You better start talking.
No,
sorry. I
was-
meant to put myself on mute. That's why I was talking.
I was gonna say we got I did some Harleys just for choppers for the Dreadnoks.
Mm.
I haven't
Like to
posted
see that.
those anywhere yet.
Okay.
A mobile command center.
No. Man, you guys got some hopes and dreams.
Hey,
What,
let's go
what did
big.
Copperhead? The
Hey,
boat
look, if we
Copperhead
could
had?
get a 4-foot tall Metroplex coming
He
from
had the water moccasin.
The water
I-
moccasin.
I have a
Yeah.
water moccasin.
There's that Hasbro put out that little Fortnite boat. It's not dissimilar.
No, it would need a repaint. It would definitely. I've been
no,
waiting to catch that
100%
on
a
sale.
repaint, and it's not accurate like to the show. But like, do you think
It
that
works.
you'd do okay if you just made the back piece for it? Because that's the main difference.
The fan,
Yeah,
or you could just get one from me. But yeah,
there's that. Yeah,
Why am I gonna? I'm not gonna help.
I mean it's less
Hasbro.
material, less cost, I think, or faster to produce something like that.
I have found trying to make aftermarket parts that fit onto things are more difficult than it is just to design it from the ground up.
Oh, okay.
So maybe if
So-
somebody's better than I am at that, but I mean, like you literally have to pull out your calipers and like measure each piece and then
Yeah.
try to line up correctly. It's kind of a pain.
Last one from me because I know we're running out of time. Trouble bubbles.
I got all the time in the world.
Trouble
I-
bubble because you would have to incorporate plastic with that and for the canopy part, right?
for clear plastic.
For clear plastic, yeah.
Yeah, I got clear. We can do clear.
Okay. All right.
So you can do bubbles like that curve type.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But
nice,
I mean,
nice.
it'll have a little bit of I don't know how to describe it. Like it won't be completely round is probably the best way to put it. Like
Gotcha.
it'll have slight angles, but I have a trouble bubble. But then once I saw that they were doing one, I was like, never mind. We're not gonna do
Yeah,
that.
you got to get in on the things that they haven't done yet.
Right. Well, and that's part. I mean, that's part of the game too, right? Like you're building things, and then it's like, oh, Hasbro's doing it. Never
you-
mind.
Hey, they haven't done a Sky Striker, classified
Yeah.
Sky Striker,
Very
so
true.
I'm all in on that one.
Have
so.
you
I don't think they will.
finished the snake armor yet? I know I saw you do the
oh.
legs at one point. I saw you got that on Instagram with just the legs done.
Yeah. I think I have Cobra Commander in there. I was like new boots or whatever. Yeah, there should be a picture on there that has snake armor complete.
Find it.
I think there's one on there. But it's kind of crazy. Like you can see there's a pretty cool picture up there with all the fangs that we've been printing out. I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys saw that. That's
And
on
if
my
people want something, just hit you up on the Instagram. Is
All
that how you do
the
it?
parts rolled out.
Yeah, that's parts right there. I mean, if you're not in, if you're in the Realm group, you can find me. You can hit me up there, or you can hit me up on the IG too, like 3D underscore printing underscore forge, and you can hit me up on there.
I see the boots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there another photo? I finished it. Oh yeah, see, there's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So, and that was
cool
literally
sound.
just taking the original design and upsizing it. So, but yeah, it's got the arms. It's got the attachments.
Yeah, I didn't see another one.
You got to get on your PR person, Tyler. They ain't doing all these pictures justice.
What a Mandalorian helmet you did?
Yeah,
Just stuff?
Yeah, that was down there.
And he has
Um,
he has the
Scout
throne
Trooper.
for Boba Fett too.
yeah. My kids love Star Wars still. I haven't like rained on their parade, so like keep scrolling down. Let's just see if there's anything worth commenting on here before. Whoa! Not that
Whoa.
fast. I was gonna say don't go too fast. Look, we'll. All right. So scroll. Let's see. So we talked about Prime. We talked about the Wolverine. So like my middle son, he's a huge Boba Fett fan. So like we did the throne from the show.
Cool.
I still haven't printed him the Rancor faces to go on there. All right, go back. So yeah, so there's some Star Wars stuff that we've done too. Like that's actually a 1-to-1 scale Scout Trooper helmet.
I like the podium too. I don't know if you talked about that earlier, but I do like the Cobra podium.
That was fun. Did that for a guy. So that one's like, so for a lot of things, like for larger pieces, like I'll tend to do PLA. So like most of that white is PLA, and then the black and the gray is actually done in resin, so you get a better detail on it. So, but yeah, keep going down. So that podium there with Cobra Commander. So that the Cobra logo can pop off, and there's a President of the United States logo that can pop on there. And then there's
Nice
and then
touch.
there's a different microphone. Well, that was one of my favorite episodes growing up as a kid, was when Zartan became the president.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So go back on that one. My kids love Pokemon, so we've done a million Pokemon things. That one's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I
like
think
the
that's a
Bulbasaur
good
with the
idea.
actual
Bulbasaur.
plants, growing out of them. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And that's done in a like a rainbow filament or like a transition filament. So like as it prints, it'll actually. I think there's a Gengar over here. Hang on. So this is one that did for my son. I don't know if you guys can see it.
The Gengar.
Yeah, but
wow.
in it
It has
changed.
the rainbows. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has the transition colors. That's
Yeah,
pretty
can
cool.
you see it? So like so it looks purple, but then like when you look at it, it'll change colors. So the Bulbasaur.
Oh yeah. When
Yeah.
you take it away from
Let's
the
see it, yeah.
camera, you can see it
Right.
for sure.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Not close, but when you bring
Yeah,
it
right
away,
there. That you can
Yep,
see it.
Yeah.
right there.
That's
So-
cool.
Yeah, so there's different things like that, and I mean, there's different filaments. They have some that have coffee in them. There's some that have glass in them. There's some that that have different things. So, but yeah, so you can see there's Han's blaster. So
Is
we
this 1-to-1?
Yep. So 1-to-1 in parts. So you could get it and put it yourself, or put it together yourself, or we would put them together for you and assemble them.
Do you
So
give instructions?
we do have instructions.
Are they better than Fansoy's instructions?
Yes, they are.
Just get a box with a note that says "Figure it out, motherfucker."
So if you back up, Gore, we did the.
Well, before I leave this one,
Sure.
Which version of the blaster is this modeled after? What movie or prop?
Empire.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, there was. They built a different one for every movie, and A New Hope I think had like 4.
Do you know
3 or
why?
4?
No.
They kept walking away from set, so then they'd have to build another one. So
Makes sense.
and there's some like little fodder in there for Star Wars, right? Like the barrel and like the crate, and there's the gun that Han gave Ray. So my daughter went as Ray 1 year for Christmas, or for Halloween.
Christmas is wild at your house.
Yeah. And then you can see we did a Megatron throne. Somebody wanted a big boy
How's that?
throne.
MP scaled.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got him sitting in it.
No, I sold all my Transformers.
Right.
Yeah.
Couldn't model it.
No. So I was like, hey, measure from his ass to his knee, and then from his knee to the bottom of his foot. So yeah. What else is on there? There's a swamp skier that we did for Zartan.
That's
So-
pretty cool.
Mick did that one. It's cool, but it's like overly complicated to print. Like if you look at the struts and like the springs in the
Yeah, all
bottom
the
of it,
you can see that.
like it's beautiful. I've got them to successfully print just a handful of times, like the brakes on the handlebars, right? Like that's more detailed than anyone's done, but there comes a point where you get over detailed and you just can't print it correctly. So, or it prints correctly, but then it's just too fragile is probably the better way to put it. So, what else we got, Gort? Is there anything else? Tons of thrones. I mean, if somebody wants a throne, we can still do those. I think we charged 45 for those back then.
Looks like you did some weapons too for the 6.
Yeah, so if you remember those first couple waves of Joe's just came
These
with
ones?
like they came with the Nerf guns. So those are actually modeled off the G1 guns, but we just upscaled them to fit classified. So you got
The
beachhead,
snow job rifle there in the middle.
yeah, that standard rifle there in the middle that came with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then that Cobra Commander set too, I should say, like if anybody wants one of those, if you want them unpainted, I do 25 ship, and that comes with both heads, the gun, and a Cobra headed staff. So like if you go back, I think there was a picture
What
right there.
body are those Cobra, the hooded heads, kind of meant for at this point?
What do you mean?
Like,
What
will they fit on
socket
any of
or
the Cobra?
what's inside it?
Any of the Cobra?
Yeah,
Commander bodies so far.
Yeah, it'll fit any of the Cobra Commander bodies. It won't snap onto the peg because I didn't want people to try to break it. It'll set right down on the peg, or just a tiny bit of blue tack will hold it in place, and it's fine.
Because I also know they did several variant colors, and would someone need to tell you, hey, I need one in this particular color?
If you want it painted, I still work with JD on those occasionally. If somebody wants one painted, we were doing painted sets for 55 now. So,
Gotcha.
And if you click on that picture there on third one down with the set in front of the Cobra Commander.
That's Bobby's backdrop.
That is Bobby's backdrop. Good eye. So that's like the complete kit. So you'll get one of each head, the staff, and then the gun, and then you can kind of see it unpainted and painted. So, and I'll say JD does a really, really good job. Like if you go on the IG, there's a video and he does like a reveal, and he actually painted them on one of the episodes of Shelf Gravy.
Yep.
So if you want to like follow along, that's what I tell people too. Like if they want to paint them themselves, I'm like, hey, go check out this guy's page, and like he'll go step by step. And like it doesn't show it in the photos, but like he puts this like gloss on the eye and it makes it look wet. Like it's crazy. Like when you see him in hand, he does a really, really good job.
Talented dude for sure.
Yeah, he is. So, all right, back out of that one. And I mean, like I said, like you pay me, I think 55, I get 25, JD gets 30 for painting the set, and then we take the shipping out. So it's still, I mean, it doesn't break the bank because some people are like $55. And I'm like, dude, once you take shipping 2 ways,
they don't
my time and his time, like
people don't care. They're assholes.
No, same thing with the dioramas. People are like, oh, but this is handmade. Yeah, it's handmade, but you don't understand.
Yeah, you don't
the
understand
amount of time it takes.
The love that goes into these things.
Yeah, and there's some pretty cool photos with the thrones, and then that Mandalorian helmet there. That was my youngest son decided he wanted to be the Mandalorian, and there's a picture. Yeah, that one's a video, so you can see that one printing on Big Blue. So, and it's go ahead.
I'm sorry. Does that have like the angles you were talking about that the Trouble Bubble would have if you made one of those?
Essentially, yeah. So it's not perfectly round, but like it's pretty damn close. So
yeah, it's perfect enough.
Yeah, and then I know we talked about stingers already. Yeah, there's another picture of it.
Yeah, I was trying to see if we could see more of the angle there, but it's not really finished.
Yeah. So that one took some time. It was a pretty cool project. Like measuring his head and then like trying to get the angles right to fit around his cheeks. But yeah, I mean, you know, you buy the costume at I don't think she got it at Target, but like the helmet was just like the old school plastic mask with the rubber band holding it around. So, and like there's a million kids being Mando that year, but he was the only one that had the helmet. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So there's some like other production pictures, like that one right there. You can see when we were getting ready for the heads. So like, if you want an unpainted one, I still have those like available now. Like literally could drop them in the mail tomorrow. But yeah, I'm still proud of that one. All right. Anything else on there? Any other questions you guys have? Or there's the video of JD right there with the Cobra Commander head backwards. Click on one of those. And I think you can kind of see the eyes on these ones, but he does a bang up job, man. I mean, that's pretty damn cool for 3 guys sitting in their basements, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll say.
So, but
So the one guy designed it, you printed it, and then JD painted it.
yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of yelling and screaming on the phone.
We got a question in the chat. It says, is clear possible or just translucent?
You can get clear. I would say probably in the last 6 months, clear resins have really come a long, long way. Before, I really like the one there with Ruth Bader Ginsburg sitting on the Cobra throne. I don't know why that one always cracks me up. So the clears come a long way. Before, like, you would get a clear resin, you'd print it clear, you'd process it, and then it would end up kind of a cloudy is probably the best way to describe it. You'd go through your wet sanding process and then re-clear coat it, like just with Krylon clear coat, and it would end up fairly good. The new clear resin is really good. It's expensive. It's about $85 to $90 a liter. So that's about 3 times the cost of regular resin. But you do get a much clearer one. Actually, I think that's the video right there in the middle with the gray eyebrows. If you guys want to watch kind of a corny video.
Where?
Right, dead square in the middle.
Oh,
that one. Yeah.
Didn't look like a video.
No? Oh, we have a video of it. Maybe it's further down. That might have been the teaser. But yeah. I don't know. There's some fun stuff on there. Yeah, and then if you see the right on the red, those were the PBE that I was telling you about, where we were printing them out and then donating them. We could fit, I want to say it was 12 of them on there at a time, and we were turning them out quick. It was kind of crazy, actually, the amount of people who wanted those, like clinics, hospitals. For people who don't know, my background is in retail, so like we were struggling sourcing PPE for stores when we were getting ready to open, so that was just like an option.
They did do a black one, man. It was earlier they showed the picture of it.
Get a custom painted hooded head instead of the blue. Yeah, so we've done the black and red. I don't think we've done whatever the royal blue one is. I call it the Captain Crunch Cobra Commander because it's what it reminds me of, like with the blue and yellow.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't think we've done one. And
is this that saber picture you're talking about earlier?
Yeah, so that was the one I was talking about earlier. So the one on the right is just printed in the correct colors. No sanding, nothing done to it. Was one that we just did a quick print for one of my kids' friends. And then the one on the left, you can see that one's been sanded, painted, weathered. So you can actually get some pretty good, like if you're into cosplay or like prop making, you can get some pretty good results even with FDM printers.
I think we got one last question from Esteban here.
Let's see. Any materials or mediums that you really want to work with as you get more creative with your projects? Yes. So they actually have metal 3D printers now, believe it or not. They work with powdered aluminum. The industrial ones right now are about $150,000 is where they start. But I mean, it's just like anything else. And I mean, the guys that are using those now, there's a guy that I follow on TikTok. He does custom motorcycles. So he's printing like engine components and like different things, like, and it's amazing what he's doing with it, but it's just like, you know, cost of entry with new technology. You know, everybody remembers when a flat screen TV was $10,000, right?
Yeah.
And now they're $400 at Walmart. So just and the longer I've been in this, like the price on the machines continues to go down and like the quality continues to go up. So it's a good point to jump in now. So
There you go.
Sounds good. So metal is the answer, Esteban. He wants to work with a metal 3D printer.
Yeah, could you imagine a classified scaled Sky Striker printed in aluminum? Come on, how badass would that be?
I kind of want it now.
Can only dream.
All right, well, if you guys want to go start a GoFundMe, we can see about getting one of these things.
Let me borrow $10 and I'll put 5 in it.
So,
You gotta talk. Gord,
Okay.
You're driving.
I'm just doing something quick.
What are you doing?
Dead Space.
Speaking of which, Dead Space, the remake came out, and I kind of want to try that because I used to love that game, and I've heard this one's actually really good.
They did. I didn't even know they did a remake on the Dead Space.
And it's not like a shot for shot; it's like a modernization of it. Like it has slight changes.
That like they've been doing with the Resident Evil games. So
I haven't played any of those yet.
they've been fun. They've been fun. I know Resident Evil, the remake for 4 is coming out soon. They're up to number 4 now.
Because I love Dead Space. I'd love to.
Yeah, those
As long
games
as they
are
didn't
fun.
add his voice into it, I'll be okay. Because that's where they lost me on number 3 is where he started talking.
I'm getting hit up with a lot of questions. One of them being, is there going to be a hangout tonight where we can
Yes,
ask
there's
more,
going to be a
more,
hangout
more
tonight.
questions?
I
Okay.
don't
We'll
understand.
start in a few minutes.
Yes.
Okay,
There's
y'all
always
new
a
around
hangout,
here,
guys.
man? What is this, our
always
first
give-
fucking show? Y'all don't
I
know how
always
hangouts
give you a
work?
hangout afterwards. So.
I look.
Jag-offs.
Hey man, I just had people just ask.
Yeah,
Not
no,
you,
no.
not you, them.
Okay.
Not
I
you, them.
was
I'm
gonna-
not you,
or-
Tyler. I like you, man. Relax. I
Or
ain't
maybe
talking like that.
maybe they're asking if I was gonna hang out. I don't know. But yeah, if we're gonna do it, I'm willing to hang out a little bit. I need to pee and go talk to my wife. But yeah, I'll be on later.
All you got to do
So
is
anyone who wants to do the hangout tonight, there will be a hangout. I will post a link in the Realm of Collectors Facebook group. Just, we're going to wind down now. Just give us a few minutes, and I'll have that link up very shortly.
Tyler, when somebody messages you, got to pull a brink, man. Be like, I'm busy podcasting. I'm not answering you. Call them out on the show. That's how it works.
And Tyler, thank you very much for coming.
We
on
appreciate
tonight,
you,
man.
brother.
Oh,
Thanks
that
for
was
coming
very
in.
educational.
Hopefully I didn't bore everybody.
No,
but yeah.
not
No,
not,
I don't
not,
think
not
so.
at
I'm
all.
excited to see all the stuff you got in the pipeline. Man.
If you ever want to, hey, I got something new to reveal. Let me use your show. You're more than welcome to come back, man. You are more than welcome to be like,
I got to give you
world
some of my
premiere.
monies anyway, so.
World premiere video.
I would say the one that I've probably been hit up the most about that I think we are going to put it into production is going to be the Triple T.
Triple T,
Nice.
baby.
So,
That's gonna be
Yeah.
nice.
Are you going to offer that in both resin or PLA?
So this one is resin. I think
Okay.
what we're going to end up doing is it'll be a hybrid. So the outer part will be resin. So you'll get the good, like the smooth images, clean. It'll be crisp, good to go. The internal parts, I think we're going to end up doing in FDM just because we need it to be a little bit more flexible. And then we did the kind of static track, like off the original toy. And then somebody in the group, Eric, said, "Why don't you do a moving tread?"
Who said that?
Eric B.
Eric
Thank-
B.
I'm like, thanks, Eric. Yeah, let me just go ahead and start over on the treads.
Don't
So
listen to him. Don't listen.
Man, go
Look,
old
if Eric
school.
B says something, you just
Go old school and just
No.
cut a little slot and put a little wheel in there. So
well, that's actually what I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is a slot where the
That's
wheels
it.
go. But
That's it.
I don't
man.
know. So to kind of give you a sneak peek, that's kind of what it'll end up looking like.
Put
Hold
me
that up
down
a second.
for
Wait,
one.
Don't put it down. Right, there we
HP
go.
exclusive.
Oh, hang on. There you go. It'll end up looking something like this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So it'll be good. And then, like I said, we got a few more things in the pipeline, so we'll work on getting some of those things squared away before their, I guess, associated figure will come out, right? So water moccasin, already got the Wolverine. We'll get a snowcat put together. We'll see what else we can do too. So
Nice. Get ready to get some of my monies, Tyler.
Well, I
Uh-oh.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, I think I told you last time you were around. I was interested in if you were ever going to get the snowcat done. I
Yeah.
did just recently buy a vintage one just because Snowcat was one of my favorites as a kid. So
Yeah, and then I was gonna say we got a few things that we're gonna do for Tiger Force and Python Patrol too. So I know a lot of you guys said you weren't into them. It was past my time with Joe's, but
same here. But I mean, I still have the Python Patrol figures on the shelf. And
what was the
Tiger
A10
Force figures
Warthog
anyway.
for Joe's? Was that the Stinger?
That's the Rattler.
The Rattler? Do that in Tiger Force striping?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So, and we're kind of working through Wild Bill's helicopter too. That's the other way. So,
Oh yeah, Dragonfly. Yeah,
Tomahawk.
Dragonfly.
That's the really big one, man.
Yeah, Tomahawk was a really big one.
Anyway, I'll stop talking.
Oh yeah, the Tomahawk with the two big propellers.
Yeah, that was the massive one.
That's like the Osprey or whatever. Yeah.
Lift Ticket. That's Lift Ticket and First Aid. Lift Ticket and damn. No, I said First Aid.
This ain't Transformers. You don't know.
That's Lifeline. That's what I said. First Aid. Lifeline. It's Lift Ticket and Lifeline. Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, thanks for having me. It's been a blast tonight.
Thanks for coming, brother.
For coming on.
Tyler, where can people find you if they haven't been paying attention?
Should I break out the old classic? Don't find me, I'll find you.
Nah, you can't do that.
No, so if you're interested on anything you've seen tonight, or if you just got questions on 3D printing, you can hit me up. Again, it's 3D_printing_forge on IG. So that's where I'm at.
Leave him a comment. Tell him he's awesome.
Yeah.
Or you can catch him dipping his hands in my bank account, taking all my money for this G.I. Joe stuff.
Right.
Where can people find you?
You can find me here every Friday night. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me in the Realm group. You can find me in the Realm chats. Eric Espada. I'm around.
All right, Ricky.
Don't find me, I'll find you.
Such a biter.
Everybody wants to be like Mike, man. No, here on Friday nights and around in the groups. I'm around.
Wolfie.
This week you can find me in Dover, Delaware, and Ridley Park, Pennsylvania. You can also find me, Eric Von Wolfenstein, on all your social media needs, and of course every Friday here with these fine gentlemen and Ricky.
Oh, you piece of shit! You're about to say thank you.
Derek.
You can find me on the Book of Faces as Derek Bigsby. You can also find me on Instagram as Derek What B, and you can find me here every Friday for Rock Hangout and Realmhattan Project.
And every once in a while, doing another one, right?
And every once in a while, doing a right out the box.
Randomly Tuesday at 12:37 in the afternoon.
One time he wanted to do it early in the morning. I was like, "Fuck no!"
Right here, Friday nights, and in 2 weeks, Zolocon, along with.
Oh, you're going? Okay.
Somebody who's going. Anybody?
Not I, said the fly.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I was thinking about it.
If you've never been, it's just the venue
it's
itself.
An interesting venue.
That's
until you realize that it hurts your eyes.
It is definitely an interesting venue.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I'm not coming.
It's housed in an old centrifuge.
I need my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I like hitting buttons, so.
Say it with me now.